Dear God, please set aside everything we think we know about ourselves, about our disease, about the big book, the 12 steps, the program, the fellowship, the people in the fellowship, and all spiritual terms, especially you, God, so that we may have an open mind and a new experience with all these things. Please help us to see the truth. We surrender this next hour to you. Your will, not ours, be done. Amen. So I'm very blessed to be the host of this meeting and podcast that is the Afro-Euro Timezones. I hope that you'll draw us and draw strength and hope from these podcasts that we'll host Fridays at 8 a.m. UK time and 10 a.m. European and South African time. Reco12 is an organisation with the mission of learning and sharing the similarities of all addictions of all kinds and gaining and sharing tools and hope from others who are walking a similar path. We come together from all places, faiths and backgrounds to gain tools and hope from others. Speakers from our past meetings have represented many fellowships, addictions and afflictions. We look forward to continuing to add to the diversity of speakers and backgrounds, and I hope you'll reach out if you think your experience, strength and hope will benefit this special community. Today's speaker is Mark, who will be speaking for around 30 minutes, and we'll get him to share, and then we can follow up with questions and answers afterwards. If you have any questions during the share, just pop them in the chat, or you can raise your hand after. The Reco12 family of Reco resources continues to grow and has more and more resources for the addict and the loved ones of those addicted. We have all the recorded shares and a couple of other super exciting projects, one of which is the Big Book Roundtable discussion, where we dive into the first 164 pages of the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous with a few recovered individuals who are past speakers in Reco12 and really try to know and live the Big Book. Tradition 7 is Reco12's self-supporting service, and we appreciate your help in keeping us working our step 12 in this manner. We gratefully accept one-time contributions through PayPal, Venmo and Wise through the links in the chat. We also offer a monthly subscription program called Reco12 Spearheads. To join in and help support these cool projects, please consider donating at www.reco12.com/support, or you can click on the link in the chat of the live meeting. We look forward each meeting to growing deeper in effectiveness and understanding as we learn from and with our special speakers. Today, we're very blessed to have Mark, who I'm really excited to listen to. And over to you, Mark.
Hi, guys. Thank you for having me, Lisa. Thank you for your service. My name is Mark, alcoholic. What it was like and what it's like today, you know what I mean? I first started drinking when I was about 8 or 9. I had my first drink. My dad used to run parties at my mum's house, and I had my first drink when I was young. I thought it was really, because I wanted to be part of the group. That's why, you know what I mean? I wanted to be part of that group that time, you know what I mean? And I had a bit of a drink. You know what I mean? I think my uncle was there and a couple of my cousins were there at the time. You know what I mean? I used drinking to deal with, I used to lack confidence. That's why I drank. You know what I mean? I'm not going to lie. Drinking was fun at first. You know what I mean? It was the norm. You know what I mean? Drinking with my friends, drinking to talk to women. You know what I mean? I drank because I lacked confidence. You know what I mean? And that's why I drank. You know, I couldn't get enough down my throat. You know, it was normal. You know, and then what really took me to my own, what really took me to a whole new level is when I nearly got stabbed in 2008. And that's when my drinking really took off. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to glorify it. You know what I mean? It was just something that happened. The person actually passed away. You know, it really took me to a whole next level. You know, I started drinking every day because my dad works in a restaurant trade. I was drinking every day, stealing bottles from work. You know, I mean, if there was like 25 bottles in the box, I used to take up 2 to drink, take it home. I used to insult the staff when I was there because I was drunk, always causing havoc. You know, I didn't really care. You know what I mean? It was my behavior. You know, I thought it was normal to drink. You know, I first heard of AA through my ex-girlfriend. She's actually sadly passed away. She passed away in 2020. I first heard it through her about AA. She actually tried to find my first meeting in AA, and I remember her looking online for it, but I didn't end up going to that meeting because I didn't really feel I needed to be in that room. I didn't really feel like I needed to be in AA. You know what I mean? I just thought bunch of people that are just sitting around, wear brown trousers. I just thought I didn't understand what it was all about. You know, about a couple of weeks, say about 3 weeks later, I met a girl I used to go to school with, and she first told me about my first meeting of AA. And I remember going to that meeting, but I was drunk. You know what I mean? I was drunk. I walked to that meeting. I went going to that meeting drunk. I ended up assaulting the secretary. I ended up being really abusive. You know what I mean? But I was drunk. So I didn't really understand it. But I did see what I learned from that meeting. I did see the steps and the traditions on the wall. You know what I mean? I was just going to that one meeting for like 9 months. I was going to that one meeting. And then 9 months later, I went to another meeting. It's now actually my home group today. It's actually on Zoom. I remember going to that meeting because I was always ready to say, if this guy, I know this AA thing don't work. You know what I mean? That's how I used to think. I know it doesn't work. You know what I mean? All he's got to say is, if he tells me to get out and leave, then I can go back and drink. But he didn't do that. You know, that person that he said, keep coming back. That person that he said he passed away as well. But he said, keep coming back. And I kept coming back to that meeting. But during that time as well, I met other people in the meeting as well that are still actually, some of these guys are still good friends to me today. And it's been years in the program. I used to go to meetings, stay in meetings for like 5-10 minutes and then walk out again. I was that guy. I didn't really understand it in the beginning. You know, I had a sponsor, but it just didn't work out. I just thought he was too strict. You know what I mean? It wasn't working for me. You know what I mean? I was dyslexic. I didn't really understand the big book. You know what I mean? It didn't really work. But I did meet my first sponsor that took me through the steps. And I met him in a meeting. He was doing a chair. And it was such a powerful chair. I could relate to this guy. And it was just so powerful. You know what I mean? And he was telling my story. You know what I mean? And what it was like. You know what I mean? I'm thinking, how did he know my story? And I remember he was just telling his story and she really got a lot out of it. My old sponsor took a meeting. He was secretary of a meeting that he took over the meeting. But he had brought another person to do a chair. And I was still complaining, I don't have a sponsor, this doesn't work. And this guy this guy's actually passed away, the one that took me outside and chat with me. So Mark, you can really do well if you get a sponsor and do the work. But what I loved about this guy, he took me to one side, he said, you know what, he spoke to me like a human being. And he really helped me to understand that. He said, you know what, you can do really well. And I ended up asking the guy that became my sponsor at the time to be my sponsor and go through the steps with me. And I'm not going to lie, when we first met up, I didn't turn up because I was scared and nervous. So I'm not going to lie. I was supposed to turn up to meet my sponsor that was supposed to take me through the work. I didn't turn up. And he saw something that I knew. She's in the room as well, she's 18 months. And said, oh, Mox, Mark said that you're going to be a sponsor. And then he said to her that I haven't shown up. And then she had a conversation with me and spoke, Mark, you need a sponsor, do the work, rare, rare, rare. And she had that conversation, and then I ended up meeting him, and we went through the work. Every single Thursday we used to meet up and go through the work and go through the big work. And we sit in a little cafe after the meeting and go through the work. Yeah, it was good. But I'm not gonna lie, I was supposed to do 10, 11, and 12, but I wasn't doing that because that guy left to go Chile. And I was supposed to get, I had, by that time, that guy left and I had to get a new sponsor. And my old behavior started coming back at 2 years. I started getting into resentment, started coming back. People in the meetings, I didn't really want to be there. That old behavior came back. And somebody a good friend of mine, she's 16 years in the program, good friend of mine today, still my friend today. And she told me, Mark, are you speaking to your sponsor? Because by that time I had a new sponsor and I wasn't speaking to my sponsor. I was just saying everything was fine. You know what I mean? It's fine, but it wasn't fine. And I just had to tell him how I was feeling. And I just shared how I was feeling, truly feeling. And I lay it out. Today, my sponsor is the sponsor I've got today is 20 years in. I'm 8 years in. And now I'm actually seeing him tomorrow for a late lunch. So that's really good. And I see him every week on my own group. And I speak to him every 2 days or whatever. But we speak all the time. You know what I mean? And this has been such a journey. I lost my missus in recovery. My mum got sick. My sister's got mental health and she's on drugs. You know what I mean? I have to do this every single day. You know what I mean? The 9th of September, I celebrate 8 years in recovery, a day at a time. You know what I mean? I have to keep being teachable. I have to keep being a student. I've got sponsees in this program. You know what I mean? I've got, as I said, I've got a sponsor. You know what I mean? I do meetings. I run meetings. You know what I mean? I take it seriously. You know what I mean? I don't have all the answers. Every time I'm always learning and growing. You know what I mean? I never stop being teachable. I never stop being a student. I used to hear the words of, yeah, you got to stick with the winners. You know what I mean? I don't believe in that. I've got to be like, how about the people that still relapse? How about the people that still go back out there? You know what I mean? And it's not about me. It's about how can I pass that message on to somebody else? How can I be of service? All I've got to do is show up. You know what I mean? And one thing about me, I don't forget where I come from. You know what I mean? For me, it's not about material things. It's about peace of mind. Yeah, and that's so important. I have to do this every day. You know what I mean? Talk to my sponsor, talking to other addicts, reaching out to other people in this game. You know what I mean? Connecting with my home group. You know, connecting with fellows. You know what I mean? Listen to speaker tapes. Turn up to meetings. Show up. You know what I mean? This is what I got to do today. You know what I mean? I learned to be teachable today. You know what I mean? You know? I do a lot for service. But it's the bridge to normal living. I got a balance. It's the bridge to normal living. I got recovery and I got a balance of my own life. You know what I mean? I get to do wonderful things. I do salsa on a Sunday night. I get to do things that I love. You know what I mean? It's so important. You know what I mean? I can't just live in recovery. You know what I mean? I have to enjoy life at the same time, but I'm sober. You know what I mean? I work my program. You know what I mean? And I've had sponsees. It doesn't always work out. That's okay as well. Not everybody has my best interest at heart. I get that as well. You know what I mean? I've got to be honest. You know what I mean? I don't have to like everybody in the room, but I have to love you. And I keep praying. I keep understanding this stuff a day at a time. You know, I keep working this 10, 11, and 12 on a daily basis. You know, I'm grateful today. I get to be an uncle today. I get to be a brother today. I get to be a sponsor today. I get to be a sponsee today because of my recovery. You know what I mean? I'm teachable every day. My mom's saying used to be, if you know better, do better. And that's a powerful saying. You know what I mean? I stole my family's peace of mind from them when I was drinking. It was all about me. I was selfish. I was inconsiderate. I didn't care about anybody else but myself. You know what I mean? I blamed everybody else but myself. I was the problem. You know what I mean? And I had to step out the way and let someone else direct me. But the most important thing that is directing me today is God. God directs me today. You know what I mean? You know, helping others, giving back, being able to reach out to other people, being able to guide other people, being able to support other people. You know what I mean? I don't shoot my wounding in this game. You know what I mean? I help where I can. If you tell me to do service, I'll turn up. If I can't turn up, that's okay as well. I'll just say, look, I can't turn up. I can say no today. But very rarely I say no, because someone gave the opportunity to help me when I was struggling. They gave up their time to help me. You know what I mean? And it's so important to help others and give back. You know? If you had told me 8 years ago being insurance is not for me, I didn't believe in this program. You know what I mean? I thought, you lot are doing something. You get me? Why you lot are so happy? You know what I mean? I used to say Charles Manson and his wallabies. You know what I mean? That's how I used to think. I used to think like that. My attitude was so toxic. You know what I mean? I used to walk into rooms and be like, someone's doing a chair. And I'd be like, that's not you. That might be your life, but that's not my life. My life is totally different. You know what I mean? You don't live the same life I live. You don't come from where I come from. You don't understand where I come from. You can't relate to me. Do you know what I mean? That's real talk. You couldn't relate to me. You know what I mean? But I had to remember that them people in that room has been there before me. You know what I mean? They've been through that mess before. You know what I mean? What I was going through at the time. You know what I mean? I used to complain about a lot of things. You know what I mean? It was everybody else's fault, but not my fault. You know what I mean? But that's not like that today. You know what I mean? I get to live life. I get to do meetings. You know what I mean? I get to show up today. You know what I mean? People rely on me. People trust me today. You know? Friday, 8 o'clock in the morning, boy, I should be in my bed. But I'm here. I love it. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have it in any other way. You know what I mean? I need to be here. I need to keep spreading that message. You know what I mean? Because this is what helps me. It reminds me what I still got to do daily. I still got to show up. I still got to be teachable. I still got to listen to newcomers. I still got to listen to old timers. I still got to listen and grow. But I'm growing every day when I'm learning every day. You know? This is a wonderful way to live. You know what I mean? I've met so many lovely people in this room. I've got strong people in different fellowships that I'm close with. Strong people, women that I'm close with, strong men that I'm close with. You know what I mean? I've got some strong people in this game. You know what I mean? And they help me all the time. And they told me the truth. You know what I mean? I love that. You know what I mean? I've gone through some hurdles in these rooms. You know what I mean? You know, but I'm grateful today. You know what I mean? I'm grateful to have the life that I have today. You know what I mean? I've got a roof over my head, food in my fridge, clothes on my back, a bed to sleep in. You know what I mean? I've got people that care about me and love me today. You know what I mean? My life is better today. I was actually speaking to my niece yesterday. She's actually 16. And I remember when she was younger, and I didn't want to be around her because I was always drinking. I didn't want to be around her. I always used to send her away. Like, no, get out the room. Get out. Go away. But that's not like that today. I get to be a good uncle. I get to show up. You know what I mean? She can trust me today. You know what I mean? And my nephews and my nieces, and they all trust me today. My family trusts me today. But I have to do this stuff. It's because of stuff like this today. It's recovery that helped me to live the life that I live. And I'm not going to lie, it's not always plain sailing. I deal with ups and downs. Not because I've got a program. Things are going to happen. It's just life. But I've got the tools today to deal with things. You know what I mean? When my missus passed away, I felt like walking away from recovery. I'm not going to lie. I'm definitely not going to lie to you. I did. I felt like walking away. But I had to get some outside help, and that really helped me. You know what I mean? And the last conversation me and her had was, Mark, stay in recovery because this is where you belong. And I've been in it ever since. You know, I'm helping others where I can. I try and help where I can. And sometimes that doesn't always work. I can't save the world. All I can do is try and work my program. You know what I mean? And I've learned this well. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink it. You know what I mean? And that's so important as well. I'm grateful today. You know, I live life on life's terms. You know what I mean? I don't just work it in the rooms. I work it outside the rooms as well. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? This is my program that I work every day. You know? And it's such an important way to live. You know, and helping other guys as well that do struggle. You know what I mean? I get a chance to reach out to them and give them some support and guidance. You know what I mean? And sometimes when it comes to sponsoring, it hasn't always worked out. I get that as well. But I've gained friends out of it. And that's been so important for me. This is a game changer, man. This recovery is a game changer for me. You know, I have to keep being teachable in this game. I have to keep reaching out because this is for life. There's nowhere else to go. I can go back to the mess. I can go back to where where I was just sitting in my mum's house in my little room. That life is always there. Scared of my own shadow. You know what I mean? I don't forget what it was like. I don't forget the pain that I caused my family and the people around me. I don't forget you know what I mean, the destruction that I caused. I was like a tornado. You know what I mean? And going through the work changed the way I look at things today. Go through them steps changed it. Working the program every day is so important. Working 10, 11, and 12 on a daily basis. Inventory, prayer, meditation, 12, working with others. It's definitely important. I have to do it every single day. You know what I mean? Yesterday is already gone. Tomorrow hasn't come. All I've got is now, the present moment, the here and now. It's so important. It's a game changer. You know, I'm teachable every day. You know, I've shared all over the world. I've shared all over the world because of my recovery. You know what I mean? I love it. You know, I get to help others. You know, I get to smash my ego and pride on a day at a time. I get to be teachable. You know what I mean? And I've learned this as well. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. I'm grateful today. You know what I mean? My phone's always on. Anybody can reach out to me and have a conversation. You know what I mean? Because when I reach out to other people, it gets me out of self. I'm not thinking about me. I'm thinking about others. How can I help somebody else? What can I pass on? You know what I mean? What little gems that I was passed on that I can pass on to somebody else? Who can I help? You know what I mean? Going through the big book's a lovely thing as well. I love going through the big book. You know, I'm always love reading it. I love listening to the big book because every time I go through that big book, I get to hear something different. You know, I'm always learning something different. And that's so important. Speaker tapes, Miles Rayner, Chris Raymer, Katie P, Dom L, you know what I mean? Bob D, you know what I mean? Howard E. You know, I love the speaker tapes. They really helped me in my early, and they still help me today. You know, it's so important to have that. You know, life is okay today, a day at a time. I'm grateful today to be here. You know what I mean? Sometimes back in the day, I wouldn't even show up. You know what I mean? I wouldn't even show up like, yeah, I'm coming. I'm not turning up. But that's not me today. I show up. If you tell me to do something, I'm going to show up. I'm that guy. If I say I'm going to do something, I do it. You know, there must be, if it's me not showing up, there must be a problem. But I've never said no to service. You know, but I can say it. I am in my right to, I can say no. But it's very rarely that I need to say no because this is helping me right now. It's getting me out of self. It's getting me to share with others. It's getting me to give back. You know, yeah, I've got the talk today. I've got a program today. You know what I mean? I've got people in my life that care about me today. I've got some really good people and friends in recovery that help me and guide me and support me. And when I'm feeling a certain way, they tell me the truth. And I like that about them. Home group, Tuesday nights, I love it. Because I get to show up every week. I get to see the faces that I see every week. And it's a lovely way, you know what I mean? When I've got a solid foundation, it's so important. And that home group helped me in so many ways. My sponsor. He's been there for me through the thick and thin, through the bad times and good times. And we speak on a regular, you know what I mean? And it's a lovely way, you know what I mean? He's like my best friend, you know what I mean? It's nice. You know what I mean? You never know, like, when you're going to meet people in life. So important, you know? It's wow. Anybody that's new in these rooms or struggling, easy does it. We'll love you till you love yourself. Stay till the miracle happens. Stay till after the miracle happens. You know what I mean? Every single one of us in this meeting today were the lucky ones. You know what I mean? You're never alone. You know what I mean? And take it easy. Just baby steps. You know what I mean? You know, I don't shoot my wounded. And that's important too. You know, and that's so important in this game. I don't forget what it was like. You know what I mean? I'm never forgetting how my life was. You know? And the most of what I can't control people, places, or things. All I control is myself. As long as I keep my side of the street clean, I'll be okay. And bring my higher power into things, I'll be all right. You know what I mean? And that's important. You know, I'm grateful today. You know, I've just, it's a lovely way. And it's a day at a time. Present moment. You know, I ain't really got any. I'm always trying to be teachable. You know what I mean? I'm always trying to learn and grow. You know, I'm always learning new stuff every day. You know, I wake up every day and say, I know nothing because I'm willing to be teachable every day. You know what I mean? I get to be teachable daily. I get to work this program each day when I wake up. You know what I mean? I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful that I get to go to meetings today. I'm grateful that I get to turn up today. I'm grateful that people can trust me today. People can rely on me today. You know? I'm grateful that I'm in a meeting right now. You know what I mean? When I was drinking, I was running away from myself. You know what I mean? And I don't get to do that today. I don't get to use the drink as to numb my feelings today. You know what I mean? And change the way I feel. You know, I feel my feelings today. And that's important. I stick with the feelings. You know what I mean? And they pass. The most important thing I do today for me, I love myself today, because when I came into this program, I didn't love myself. And today I love myself today. I'm comfortable in my own skin. I could sit with myself today. I'm not afraid to be alone. You know what I mean? That's okay, you know? I'm comfortable today. So, you know what? I'm grateful, man. Grateful to be here. Thank you for asking me to do service, Lisa, and I'll leave it there.
Thank you so much, Mark. That was lovely. Wow, 8 years is so inspirational. And I loved that when you said about, you know, when you're ready to be taught, then the teachers appear. And yeah, that was really great. Thank you so much, Mark, for your time. So it's now time for some questions. If anyone's got any questions, you can pop them in the chat, or you can come in and read them out. One thing what I was going to ask, Mark, what really stood out to me when you said about your dyslexia, and I find that quite interesting because two of my children are dyslexic. And how did that, did it affect you when you were first, you know, getting involved with the steps, when you were taking the steps, or and how does it affect you now with your program? Does it affect you? Or?
My sponsor understands, and my old sponsor gave me a worksheet. So I use a worksheet when I'm going through the work. It's easier for me to understand. And that worksheet really helped me to break things down, and it was easy to understand. So I use that worksheet every time when I'm going through the work with my sponsees, and it really helped me. You know what I mean? But when I first did this recovery, I was a bit nervous because my dyslexia, I wasn't good at reading. I wasn't good at understanding things. But my sponsor tailored to my understanding. So that's so important for me. And it helped me. So, yeah.
That's amazing. It's funny, there's always a way, isn't there? You know, when I've heard of people, you know, who can't even see, or, you know, there's always a way to adapt it. And that's beautiful. And that leads me on actually to my next question of, you know, you spoke about when you had a period of not having a sponsor, and how then, you know, you could see yourself slipping slightly and slipping in, you know, not doing the things.
I wouldn't say I did. I'm going to say I did have a sponsor, but I wasn't ringing him. When I said that, I did have a sponsor, but he was my other sponsor had left to go to Chile. And then I had a sponsor, but I wasn't ringing him. I wasn't calling him. I was telling him everything was fine. And then somebody pointed out to me, a good friend of mine, she pointed out to me about, oh, have you been ringing your sponsor? Have you been telling your sponsor? And I said everything was fine. Oh, yeah, but I wasn't. And then I rang him up and then we spoke. And then we've been cool ever since. And it's years later now, and we talk all the time. But it was that situation. But my old behavior was coming back because I thought, I don't need to share anything with him because he's going to think I'm silly. You know that head thinking, he's going to think I'm silly if I'm sharing things with him. And he's thinking, that's why you got to call me. If you're feeling a certain way, share it. You know, I mean, it doesn't care how silly it is, share it. And that's what I say to my sponsors as well. If it doesn't matter how silly it is, I want to share it because it stops you from picking up a drink and a drug. So share it. Yeah.
Brilliant. And I guess that's what, you know, how important to anyone who is not using their sponsor or hasn't got one, is fresh in the rooms. That's such a strong message of how important it is to have a sponsor and to make sure that you do keep that communication open, isn't it?
Yes.
With you being in the rooms for 8 years, how would you say your program, you know, your daily practice, Mark, has it changed much from the beginning to now?
It hasn't changed much. I still do the same things I do when I was first coming in. It doesn't change. You know what I mean? And I have to do this every day. This recovery doesn't take a day off. You know, I still got to do what I do. I still do my prayers. I still reach out to people. I still make phone calls. You know what I mean? I still speak to my sponsors. It doesn't change. You know what I mean? It's just, you know what I mean? It's a daily practice. You know, and that's important.
Absolutely. With your prayers and with your meditation, has that evolved? Have you changed, like sort of in the prayers you use or the meditation you use? Has that changed at all?
It doesn't change at all. I use the same prayers that I've been using when I first came in. So there's been the same prayers I say the same prayers every day, and that doesn't change. You know what I mean? But I'm not gonna lie, when I first did meditation, it was a bit nerve-wracking in the beginning, but I've got used to it now. Just sit with myself for like 5-10 minutes is important. And bring God into the picture.
Got questions about addiction, recovery, or just life in general? Let's noodle it out together. Grab your big book, a pen, a highlighter, and a notepad, and join Nikki M and me, Justin B, on Reco12 Noodle It Out with Nikki M. Each episode, we take real-life questions, ours, yours, and those from the recovery community, and dig deep into the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous to find real, practical solutions. So, if you're ready to do the work and apply the solution, tune in to Noodle It Out with Nikki M, streaming now on your favorite podcast platform.
Absolutely. And then one final one, you did touch on you've been through some hurdles. And I guess, like you say, life gets lifey and through this work in these steps. How did you manage through them hurdles, Mark? What kept you grounded and kept you strong in the program?
Well, I had people in the rooms that helped me and guided me. You know what I mean? I had good people in the rooms, good support around me, a good support system around me when I needed them, and they were there, and they're still there today. You know what I mean? But I'm not gonna lie, I had to get some outside help for breathing counselling. You know what I mean? Just at that time, that what was going on in my life, I needed it, and I took it. You know what I mean? And I'm grateful that I did that because it really helped me. You know what I mean? But I've got a strong support system around me. You know what I mean? That really helps me. I've got some strong women and strong men, and I speak to them on a regular. You know what I mean? I have contact with them. You know what I mean? They always checking up with me, checking in with me. It's always good. You know what I mean? It's important. I check in with them. It goes both ways. They're there for me. I'm there for them. And, you know, not just through the good times, but the bad times as well. Even when they've been struggling, I'm there for them as well. I don't shoot my wounded. So I'm there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's beautiful. And I guess what I'm hearing is so important to have that, you know, keep the communication, keep that support group, keep the people, you know, around you, and always keep communicating, because that's when, I know in my experience, and I've heard so many, when you start isolating and cutting off contact, that's when this disease starts really playing with my head. And so that's such great wisdom to hear, Mark. So thank you so much. And if no one else has got any questions, thank you so much again, Mark. I really appreciate it. And it was a great Reco12 speaker meeting for all addicts and their loved ones. If we didn't get to your question, or if you have any other questions, please consider joining our WhatsApp community by sending an email to reco12pod@gmail.com and joining our community and ask those questions. If you'd like to be a future speaker on Reco12 Afro-Euro, please send an email to reco12pod@gmail.com. If you've not rated and reviewed the podcast in Apple Podcasts, please go do so now. It's a great way to work your 12 step in sharing the message with others. And I invite the audience to come back next week with another great speaker. And now back to you, Mark, to lead us out on the prayer of your choice. Thank you.
Okay, thank you guys. Thanks to every single one of you guys for being here today. Thank you for your service, Lisa. Thank you for everybody else in there. I'm going to lead you out with the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to set the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Thank you.
So there is one who has all power. That one is God. May you find God now. Stick and stay, and when you do, come all the way in, sit all the way down. Let's trudge this road of happy destiny together. Work it, you are worth it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark. I really enjoyed that. That really fascinated me about, because I know when my two youngest kids are dyslexic, like I just said, and what I opened my eyes, I always just assumed, and I wasn't in school for a long time, but I assumed it was just about the words. And what I discovered with them, it's also the memory. So if I say, you know, if I give them a list of instructions, like normal stuff throughout the day, and after the second thing, it's gone.
Yeah.
And so I was intrigued. I know people, you know, there's people with, you know, sort of struggle with reading and stuff. But that's really useful, especially on the recording, because if there are other people, you know, it could put people off, you know, think, oh, God, I can't do the, you know, coming in. And they might think, oh, I can't do the 12 steps because, you know, I'm dyslexic, and they've got to feel.
There is audio. I love the audio. I love the audio because you can listen to it.
Yeah.
That's been such a good thing for
I'm
me.
dyslexic.
Having audio. Oh, go on.
What was that, August?
Yeah, I was just saying I'm dyslexic too.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot to, be in school. And it's it's good to not be alone.
Yeah.
We're never alone in these rooms.
That's great
Exactly.
because when you make it more, because there could be people suffering in the rooms who are dyslexic and maybe embarrassed, maybe, or like I said, coming in and think, oh, I can't do this. If you're dyslexic, if I shoved a book like that in front of my 2 children who are dyslexic, they'd actually poo their pants.
Yeah.
So that's really great that you spoke about that, Mark, because it would be very, very useful to a lot of people. I'm really pleased you come on this morning.
Thank you for having me.
And I am mindful because you said you've got to go at.
Yeah, no, I've got to go at 9, so we've still got enough time to go. So
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was great. Great. And 8 years, wow.
It's the day at a time. It's the day at a time. I don't. Doesn't matter about the years. The day at a time. And just that's all it is. You know what I mean? Them days add up. Them days add up. You know what I mean? And we
and
always
I
learn
as well. I should have put that in for the recording. But when you say so important to stay in the now, isn't it?
Yep. The present moment.
When I start drifting into the past and feeling all sorry for myself, or if I start future tripping and then my head just... So it's so important for us addicts, I believe, that we got to stay right in the present as much as
present
we
moment,
can.
because we can get like, future. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
No.
Focus on the here and now. The present moment is so important. It's what I'm doing right now that I focus on. I don't focus on yesterday. I don't focus on tomorrow. I focus on right now, here and now. You stay in the present.
Definitely.
And I think I learned to be humble in this game as well. I learned to be humble.
Gotta be,
Yeah, humble. Humble is so important for me. You know what I mean? And once you're humble, you learn a lot just by listening. I don't need to speak. Actually, it's more listening for me because I get what I need. I understand. I get what I need to hear.
Hey Spearheads, if you're looking to dive deeper into the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous with people who live the solution, then you won't want to miss Reco12 Big Book Roundtable. Join David G., Nikki M., and me, the moderator Justin B., 3 recovered addicts from multiple fellowships, as we break down the big book line by line. In each 30-minute episode, we share our experience, strength, and hope in a real, raw, and practical roundtable discussion. So, if you are ready to learn and apply what you learn, tune in to Reco12 Big Book Roundtable on your favorite podcast platform.
Yeah, I do believe that God speaks through people. And it's funny, isn't it? When you've got something playing on your mind and all of a sudden someone will say something and you think, oh yeah, what you've been thinking about, or you see something in a book or hear, like you say, I love the speaker tapes too. I listen to it when I'm hoovering or if I'm cycling, like what.
Yeah.
I often do that when I'm pottering about and stuff. Yeah, it's all great, and I loved when you said about the sponsor. That's a good reminder that you must keep speaking to your sponsor.
That's what I was in the big, like, that's what, when I first, and not speaking to him and all that was a bit of no, I don't need to tell him what's going on. He might think I'm being silly. No.
Yeah.
Phone me. And he's like, phone me, but we're good now. I phone him all the time. We talk all the time. It's nice to have that as well because we speak all the time. It's the funny way you're thinking because he even thought that as well with his sponsors. Like, I shouldn't phone him because he might think a certain way, but it's just phoning him because once you share it gets it out. You're not hanging on to it.
Definitely.
And I've learned this as well. I can't let resentment live rent-free in my head. I have to let it out. And think we can get blocked up. If we're not sharing stuff with our sponsor, we can get blocked up. And we need to be unblocked. We need to be unblocked with stuff. So it's like we have to do, it's like getting medication. every 24 hours. So we need to share that stuff and lay it out and share it. And keep sharing it.
Like you say, it's getting out of your head, isn't it? I love the power of pen and paper, isn't it? Because again, it's getting it out. When I've got it going on like that in my head, it'll drive myself nuts.
Yeah. And even for me, it's even sponsorship as well. That can be, you know, even when I've sponsored a lot of people, and there's times when it doesn't always work out as well. Because you know what? Even though it hasn't worked out, I've gained the friends. That's how I look at it. Because it doesn't, we can't help everybody. And some people are just not ready. You know what I mean? I had to learn that some people are just not ready when it comes to recovery. And that's okay. They know where we are when they're ready. They know where we are. The doors are always open.
And I think that it is in God's time. Like, it's just not their time yet. Because for me, once I knew, something come over me and I knew, right, this is it. And I've hung on ever since and done everything, because something just, I don't know, something did come over me. I knew that I had to get this stuff. I knew I had to do what everyone said. I think at the beginning, if my sponsor had said roll around in shit naked, I probably would have. Because I was that, you know, they say, don't they, that gift of desperation. I was there. And I still, you know, and every day I wake up almost like I'm preventing a relapse. I know that if I don't do this stuff, I will go back out. I know I will.
But it's very, you know, as well, and it's about connecting with others as well. It's so important. Because some people think that, like, when they've been in the room for a while, they seem to forget that. How was it when you was first in? Don't forget what it was like when we first came in. People seem to forget that. So they don't, you know, they don't care.
The other day, someone in my in-person meeting, and I've been hearing it a lot, 40 years, and at Christmas they thought it was a good idea to pick up a sherry. Like, what? My mouth was on the floor, because I thought, how can you sit, like, I know that's judgmental, but I was thinking in my head, how can you forget that once you put one in, you're off?
Yeah, but some people can get complacent.
Yeah.
They stop doing what they're doing when they first come in. They start, oh yeah, I'm all it. No, they stop it. They don't remember how it was like when they first came in. Yeah. They seem to forget that. Yeah, I've got meetings. I'm doing all this. Remember how it was when you first came in? I think
that's where sponsoring others, that's where it comes in, because I do it like when they're first saying, and I remembered something the other day what I did, and I thought, God, I forgot how bad. I remembered, you know, I used to spew at the end of my drinking when I was so bad, and I'd be sick and cup it, and I'd put it back in my mouth, because I needed that, because otherwise I was like that. I couldn't even do my son's shirt up to go to, like, that's how extreme I was, you know, and I remembered it and I thought, I'm not going back there. Absolutely not.
But that life is always there, Lisa, as we know, that life is always there. But the most important thing I've learned, there's nowhere else to go. There is nowhere else to go. And all I can do is keep working this program and keep doing this daily, keep being teachable. Yeah. Knowing that I don't have all the answers, knowing that I have to just take this a day at a time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm going to have to keep doing this for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And that's so important.
Yeah.
And when I look at it like that, things start to make more sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's important for me.
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. This disease, like, it's so evil that it can so easily, and that's why it's so important to keep talking to people, stay in the rooms, keep talking to other addicts, because it starts playing tricks with your mind. And clearly, you know, I've heard, you know, people with 20 double figures and they're going back out, and I think that if that disease is still there, is still good, and that's it, is for life, full stop. I'm going to take this disease to my grave, so I have to do all this stuff, or else I will go back out.
Yeah.
It's about, you know, for me, it's about today. It's not about material things, and it's about peace of mind.
Yeah.
Peace of mind is so important for me. Peace of mind is the most important thing I got today. You know what I mean? And I love that. It's not about the nice house and nice car. It's about the peace of mind.
Yeah.
You know, and it's important. You know what I mean? And I'm grateful.
Well, we know all them things never made us happy, did it? I was always searching for something out there, but whatever I got, I might be happy for a few minutes, and then I go down like a sack of shit again.
We're always searching for more because we're never happy. We're always searching for more. Or it's greener on the other side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that doesn't change, man. We have to remember that, you know what? We're trying to change the way we feel. So we use anything to change the way we feel.
Yeah.
You know, any substance, you know what I mean? To change the way we feel. Because we're not okay with ourselves. You know what I mean? That's important.
Yeah, definitely. You look very nice in your hat, August.
So I'm waiting to get, I'm on campus. I'm actually trying to get some outside help for counseling because you spoke about that.
Yeah.
Just have a lot going on at the moment.
I can't wait to get you to do a share for me, though. I can't wait.
And it's
just
amazing.
Your
You're at
story.
80 days, August.
I can't wait to get you in just because I love the newcomer, man, because you get to hear what it's like, the story, and it reminds me what I still got to do. You know what I mean? And that's important. And when I do get you in, your story is going to help somebody else.